Ha! Tricked. You guys got faded there. Came right to us because reasons. The market is going to the downside. I don't know, but maybe Brendan probably just getting ready or his microphone or something. The only strong name, I shouldn't say this, okay, one of the only strong names out there, Alphabet, has been propping up the market for pretty much the entire day. It's up 1.5% while the NASDAQ sits down 0.5%, but the bigger story is we're right back onto these lows. 3 times we've tested this bottom. I have to take a fill, and the position board will come up there. 3 times we've taken out this bottom, and, well, have not taken out this bottom, but at some point, if we do, I think you only want to be in those shorts. Hey, look at that. Oh, it is filling in there. It just says positions, 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 and now.
Yeah, it has to say that first.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know.
Yeah, now they're rolling in here. So it's going to be a wild one. I do think it's going to be a good one. Obviously, we don't like when the market goes down because your long-term account doesn't look as good, but there's always shorts to be had, and the shorts have been there pretty much all day if you've had them. So let's see what we can get going here. I don't know what's going on. The TV's behind us, but kind of weird. We could just turn that off.
It's barcoding.
Yeah.
Right there. But yeah, welcome back. We're hella short everything here again. We have $1 almost in the money on Apple right now. Look at this patience, guys. You want to talk about hitting a level a couple times there. What about 175 right there on Apple, still holding a piece of this trade as well, and this time more than 10%. So that's good. Holding that on to that trade right here for Apple as we're trying to break lower here. Of course, have our markers here, 15,000. Then the IB low of 14.9 or so right there. And just watching out to see what happens with this market. And by the way, we also have a monster trade here. I don't know if you guys saw NEO. But for some reason, this name got going here early. Not early, but right at 11 o'clock when we went off the air. And I was even putting in the chat, like, we're going short, we're going short, we're going short. NEO paying off right now. Nice downside move here on NIO. So, yeah, man, more of the same as we go. We do have Frank Caberna coming today from IG, so that should be good talk coming through as well. Yeah, they're doing some TV repairs, actually, with Brendan's system over there.
TV
monitors.
repairs.
Well, we've got that TV up there,
right.
and then there's a monitor situation happening, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I got to get into the proper chat, but right now, Brendo is ready at the desk.
Okay, yeah, let's jump back into everything that was happening during the midday. If you took a little time or a break to have some lunch, here's what you missed. A few green areas still in the market, a few notable green areas still in the market that have been essentially holding things up throughout the day. Energy stocks specifically have been very strong all day long, along with crude oil back to the upside today. XOM still leading the way there, 2.5%. J&J with a nice day as well, 0.75 back to the upside. There are a few others in the healthcare group outside of Eli Lilly and AbbVie that have been leading the past week or so. Yeah, Google's still a great day, 1.5%, where most other big tech names downside. If you missed it this morning, there was a note from the Wall Street Journal suggesting that Google's still leading the way as far as the AI search race specifically is concerned, even though Microsoft with Bing and ChatGPT had a bit of a head start. Positive note overall for Google. Netflix notably weak there, almost 2% downside. Apple 1.3%. There's Tesla 1% still to the downside overall. Some of the retailers in negative territory overall as well. If you're with us early on this morning, we were touching on a number of things, including NVIDIA. We'll get to that in a sec. It was all about Chinese ADRs as well. If you zoom in here, you can tell why we were discussing these. Huge gap to the upside here for not only Alibaba, but all the EV makers, all the tech names as well. But yeah, it's been nothing but downside ever since. So typical for ADRs, there's quite a few gaps on this chart, to say the least. Back to essentially yesterday's high, guys, for Alibaba right now.
Buy with a little something. Maybe he'll show you too there. But I traded JD again. I guess maybe I should have gone back over to JD. It's just when it broke out past that local top, I just said, yeah, you know what? Not really setting up for me if it fills in the gap a little bit more. I wasn't really believing in the gap up. I wish I could tell you I believed in it so much that I was just shorting it off the open. But sometimes the way it works with these Chinese ADRs is if you're not sitting in, if it goes, sometimes when they fall apart at the open, if you're not sitting in the short, you'll find yourself, if you're looking for a structured setup, waiting for a while to set up. And that's exactly what happened. So I waited for this to get down into yesterday's bottom range, which is right at the close. And the second it was there, you found a consolidation. So it tried to bounce off the previous close price at 34.88 and tried to get back above 35. It failed that, so I shorted that range from yesterday in the afternoon. Pretty cleanly a couple times. The third time, maybe not as good because it couldn't fall all the way down into the bottom, but it gave you like the 34.8 to 34.9 down into 34.40. So it was a good capturable move. 35 looked like it was pretty good. I don't think I chase this anymore because the Chinese ADR in the afternoon, which if it's not doing a lot, then maybe you stay away from it. But I'm open to the idea that if it comes back to this range, you can scalp it some more. I still believe most of these charts look pretty bearish. So kind of working with the trend here, back under the 50 period, short till it gets into the lows. Nothing's really changed for me on this stock. We're going to get XPeng aftermarket, so that's going to have a catalyst of its own tomorrow. But some of the other ones, it gave you an opportunity to get back into the short with this gap up. So, thank you, JD. I'm sure if you picked any one of those names, there was an opportunity in there to fade it. So good luck. I don't think they're always that tradable in the afternoon, but stranger things have happened.
All right, it's time to dance it off one more time here as Apple just joins the Dollar Trade Club. We are going to talk about Chinese ADRs, but check out this trade right here on Apple, 175. We like it once, twice. If we can go to the screen, Ramin, thank you. Fabian, how's it going, Ramin? Right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Short Apple joins the Dollar Trade Club right there. Look, I only have one trade today on a Chinese ADR. I mean, I don't, right here on NEO, I was looking to get short Chinese ADRs all day. Finally get this pop up in NEO, I think on some sort of a Swedish charging station news. I don't know. But anyways, we take that short right there against that high. Let it make a high, short it on the way back in, and kaboom. Nice little move to the downside right now. And again, that's 20 cents right there, right? So we start taking 20 cents, which is the risk. Get them all out, not them all out, get some out, about half out around 12. Let it drip down 80s, get the VWAP here, 75, get the recent bottom. Like, don't even get out, right? Let it go down more. Once it comes back, test 67, good. Then we're out a little bit now as well as we still hold on to a piece of NIO, man. I mean, real see real, and this is a real one right now. NIO continues to make a move to the downside. Where do we get out of this? The day's low is right here at 50, so I mean, pretty close to probably tapping out of this one right now. It's NIO, man, and it's another banger for you there on NIO. Sharif, I can't believe you didn't have this one, man. I was screaming as this was happening, NIO for the win.
Yeah, it was a toughie, Sean.
I was just noting as well, I didn't even realize you guys have the same shirt on today.
Oh.
Twinning. It's close enough, Neil.
Awesome.
Let's talk some Walmart. Here we go. Downside in a big way, 156 in a quarter trying to hold here now. Look at the volume still behind Walmart today if you missed it this morning. Decent report across the board. But as soon as the call started, the selling started, and it has not let up all day.
Nope. The initial report that came out in the morning was good. 6% year-over-year growth in same-store sales, 24% year-over-year growth in e-commerce. They actually guided well, saying that they're going to be helped by the holiday season as well as the back to school. However, the call started, and that's where the uncertainty came in, and that's where the sell-off started, Brendo.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. It was about here-ish on the during the pre-market. We had this big reversal candle, and then it was just downside. There was a bounce into the open, but here we are. Wow, what a day, guys, for Walmart.
I mean, they're the same color, but they're not the same shirt. I mean, it is what it is.
Wow, Neil.
I didn't get the memo. I actually own a black golf shirt, too. Like, I could have pulled it off, and then we could have all had the same look for some unknown reason. But Walmart, I said this morning.
Go woke, go broke. I love how
I can still hear.
Yeah, Sharif's mic was still on there. Sharif talking about go woke, go broke.
Yes, which was Target, by the way. But Walmart, I said with Target, wake me up at 138 break, and then for Walmart, it was like wake me up when the 162.50 breaks, and so neither one happened. You just want something trading the other direction. I suppose on that same logic, and I didn't really consider this, so it doesn't really matter that much. The other way that you could have broken to a new price level was to just take out the 158 support level. I wasn't really thinking about that. I was really just thinking about the breakout to the upside on Walmart, so there wasn't much of a trade for me. Congrats if you took that short. If you liked it, you want something breaking down. Walmart is now underneath the 50 period on the daily. It's going to have its first close in, I don't know, like 3 months underneath the 50 period on the daily. If it gets down into the 200 period, that's probably a really good buying opportunity for Walmart. So I keep tabs on this. If you're looking for, I don't know, retail or some kind of a swing or something, if the market pulls back in, look how well it's respected the 200 period on the daily. So if this is the first step to get down there, I think that's really not that bad of a play. We'll cross that bridge $6 from now or next week, whenever, if and when it happens to get down. I really, like I said, I don't see a trade in this stock today, but I should have at least been considering the bottom break if I was considering the top break.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was talking with a few people there on chat, and it was just about like, I don't know. I did downplay Walmart earlier today, and I was talking about how much I preferred Amazon and the reasons why I think Amazon is changing the game. I mean, this is not a hot take or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's a nice downside move here today. We saw Target yesterday kind of go this way as well, drip down all day. So I would say if you're in this, you just want to, okay, maybe I have to zoom this back. Okay, there it is. So I was just going to say, like, you know, if you were playing the short off of anything here, 161, these kind of tops, I think that was a great opportunity. And then you had the 200 period moving average sort of support it. We talked about a great trade off Google for that 200 period moving average, gave us about 250. And then, you know, this is the same kind of a play right now. So I would say just respect this. It's starting to flatten out a little bit at 156.60. So I would say that's your sort of your go spot there if you did need a spot to go on Walmart, especially if you're short. I would cover this around 156.60. Again, didn't really read the report thoroughly or anything like that. That's not really what I'm all about. We're just going to trade support and resistance levels and try to play momentum. So I think that this break right here of VWAP was really the only play, breaking down through 160. I mean, if you're in it early, that's fine, but you let it settle down. And this is what we always say, man, the same damn thing happens every day. It seems like anyways, and that is that waiting right now for something to happen and then watching the break. Either it breaks higher through 160.50 or it breaks lower back down through 160. And today, if you were biased that way, obviously then you would have preferred it to go upside there, or sorry, downside if you're biased to the short for the retail. So I really like that 160 breakdown on Walmart. Pretty simple trade. Don't have it. Congratulations to those who do.
I was just reading through a couple other positive notes here today on Cisco. Was so strong out of the gate this morning. Has done basically nothing since, but nice move anyways out of the gate from the open. 55 becomes support there, but there's a ton of these today. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 even. Upgrades or positive notes from analysts coming off a decent report for Cisco.
Yeah, the market liking what they're seeing at the moment. And this was funny because yesterday when it reported, it sold off. It was the earnings call this morning that was a saving grace. Here's what they said. They basically said there is growing demand and appetite amongst enterprise for AI, security, and cloud. And now that helps propel it above now 4% on the day, Brendo.
Yeah, pretty impressive, guys. 55 holding so far here for Cisco.
It is very impressive, especially with the market on the lows, right? Like any stock that can break out the top on the daily. Now, Cisco's not going to really move that much. Its ATR is like 79 cents or somewhere around there. It's not. Of course, Sharif like chuckles at it. I'm like, it's not. It's a $55 stock. That's not that bad. But it's not super volatile. So maybe that helps it out a little bit. But if you didn't have it right at the open, saying I like the breakout right away through the previous top or maybe getting through the pre-market high, there wasn't much to dig into. You could go scalp mode on this, I suppose. Like this is what it's done since the opening rush. Like at 10 o'clock, it had traveled like almost $2 up and then a pullback of $1. Since then, you just don't have too much to dig into. So yes, it's relatively strong, but you know, if you're going 55 into 55.20, you could probably have scalped that a few times here today. It would be a little bit more interesting if it like flat bottom broke to the downside and then gave some of that up. If the market takes out the lows, I would almost say like the trade would be, does it give any of this up underneath 55? And then you actually have some room for a big move this afternoon, which would be to the downside. I mean, the shorts are in. We'll talk some chips. I am in Intel right now. We'll talk to some chips with NVIDIA in just a little bit here. But Cisco, good for them. If this market catches a bid, you're seeing it on the daily breaking out. So maybe there's something for this in the next days and weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Neil just hammered it right there. I have nothing to say or add about Cisco. I mean, it's not really moving today. It is kind of important to look at the average true range because that's going to give you an idea of where we think the market's actually going to go and, you know, if you're going to break out of it. But, of course, ATR doesn't matter that much when you're talking about an earnings play. So the only Cisco that I know
like it when the beat
has a
goes,
certain
Dennis.
thong song attached to it. So shout out to Drew Hill.
I
think
probably,
anybody knows who Drew Hill is?
They know Drew Hill.
Do they? Oh, I know someone that doesn't. You ready?
Brendan,
Here we go.
do you know who Drew Hill is?
Cisco, baby.
Shut up, Sharif. Sharif.
Unbelievable. Seriously?
Oh, yeah, what a throw, baby.
No, dude,
What a throw.
Oh, shoot. That was sick. Oh, I just cursed.
Somehow that got here. I don't know.
You guys,
I mean,
guys
that's
can't,
over TVs, through lights.
There's like a window this big to get it over the TVs and actually land it in the bucket. You know the hilarious
I
part
mean, I'm
about
not
that
playing around.
is the Packers quarterback couldn't have dropped it in the bucket that
No,
well.
he could not have.
Sign you up, brother.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I've gotten lots of different contracts and everything like that. There it is, all the way
we do
through
have a
there.
camera
so
for
thank
this.
you so much for that. As there's Ramin getting everything all organized there.
I've been
so.
saying this. If all of those cameras were constantly recording somehow, I guess I don't know if you can do that, then you'd actually have shots of all that nonsense, like sometimes when like shenanigans happen. But long story short, thank you for spoiling that. There's no chance Brendan would have gotten it, the thong song. Before we throw it back to the desk, I actually wanted to get to this super chat here for a second. So thank you, Jims, for the super chat. Messi or Ronaldo, who's the best football player ever? Pele. But I'd say Messi between the two. I'm on Team Messi when it comes to Messi or Ronaldo. But full disclosure, I am an England soccer fan. So there is despite the fact that I have Portuguese blood, it's going to be Messi for me. I just can't say Ronaldo. Sorry.
All right. They made it. They made it safe. It was a long trip, but they have now a new home on our desk for now, anyways. Let's talk NVIDIA here. As we said, chips. Yeah, it's been choppy to say the least, but a ton of additional positivity coming through on NVIDIA this morning. One from Oppenheimer, $500. Rosenblatt, the other one, $800 ahead of earnings coming up next Wednesday.
Yes, sir. I was just about to mention that. August 23rd, I'm going to be wearing the black jacket on this desk to pay homage
Damn it,
to
I
Jensen
ruined it.
Huang.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know today Rosenblatt increased their price target from 500 to 800, essentially seeing the stock doubling. Didn't really give a window, but we know that the Saudis, the Chinese have been buying these chips hand over fist. Reason being, they're looking to expand their AI base.
We shall see how that report goes. You can't even tell what it is. It looks like I don't know, something or other. There we go. That's better. All right.
Oppenheimer, I mean, that was a great movie. The price target's a little bit interesting. We talked about this morning. Like, I don't have a particular issue with anybody's methodology that states that, okay, I've got a 5-year blah, 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 NVIDIA gets to $800 and whatever. But it's just, when you really don't know what that's all about, like what's the point? Like, you need to dig into whatever the report is. NVIDIA, it never set up for me for the short. Fine, like it's going to happen sometimes. I was kind of looking at yesterday's lower highs, and that would have been the first level, and then the 48 to 50 would have been the second level. You didn't really get that much of a test at the open into it. And yeah, the base didn't quite get to that 31, 32 area, almost close to it. I do have to show you, yesterday Intel was the jam short, so it's kind of weird that when it got to 33 and I had a support line down there, instead of looking for a second entry into the short, which I had missed the first, I decided I wanted to go long off that price area, which was, that's genius, right? It's like, okay, it was a great short yesterday, and it's tanking today. So when it gets to 33, instead of a false break back up, let's go for the long and lose 5 cents on it. So that's what I did. And I'm in the short now off the same price level. It is at VWAP. If it breaks VWAP, 32.60 will be the next out. But, you know, sometimes you just want to stick with one direction. It's not the band, but the trend. The band I can do without. But yeah, stick with that trend. It is your friend. I'd say, I almost want to say inexcusable not to have been short this level here on Intel. You know, like it was pretty, 33 was pretty obvious. And even you could have been out of the long and then into the short after. Like I could have shorted it after the fact of the long. That's the other thing. But by that time, I was into other names. It is what it is. It'll still be a good day, but I'll look back and just wonder how I managed to not have been short until 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Intel today.
Yeah, I mean, we only traded AMD today, and it was kind of just a back and forth day. We could talk about what we did early on AMD, and it wasn't much. Well, hold on, maybe I can zoom. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say maybe I can zoom in a little bit. All right, so we started the day trying to go long off 107, right? You could see here that we really, I thought this was going to be an area of support right there, 107. I mean, you come in, this is the whole day here today, this move down. So I started the day thinking that we could bounce off this 106.50, and we actually wrote it down here on our sticky note that we wanted a 106.50 long to come into play here for us on advanced micro devices. But unfortunately, so that's why we went long, and now let's talk about what we did. So we went long into here, got a couple names out, started defending this 106 area because it just came in pretty quickly. Once we realized that, you know, all these longs were really hard to get out, and then we break 106 to the downside. Then we shorted it into the 50 period, which broke, but then once it broke, we got right back into the short again at 106.50, and then it started to collapse in, and then we just danced with it a little bit again at 106, wound up taking about 80 cents on some of the short back in there, but again, just no conviction today. Yesterday we had great conviction in NVIDIA. It took $7 a couple times, multiple areas there on NVIDIA yesterday that we really liked. I mean, I can show them to you right here. Yesterday's trade was right up into here, 442 into 444. We had all these shorts. And I guess when you're looking at it again today, it's not an excuse. First of all, Apple's a $1 winner right now. Microsoft's $2 in the money, so we have those. But this is a short here. And it's just ridiculous that I'm not in it. What are you going to do? We shorted Apple, 175. With that, now that's $1. But this should really be $3 in the money. I've been biased NVIDIA short for this whole time. So this should be a short right there. Missed opportunity. So I'm just going to slap a fail right on that. Join me at 4 o'clock as I add NVIDIA to my trade review now, because I definitely want to talk about this. You got to go back to the well when you make money one day and have a good feel for it. So go back to NVIDIA there, 438.50. What a great shorting opportunity right there. But we did miss it. If you're going to look long, it has to be down here right now. You don't want to trade in the middle, man. Don't trade in the middle. Let's wait to see what happens now with NVIDIA.
All right, we were wondering what day it was going to be when VFS started to make its move back downside. Answer was today. Apparently, Sharif and I were just talking though. I mean, 28 to 23, not bad, but I feel like there's still a ways to go here potentially for VinFast.
You mean the 1% of the company, Brendo, is not worth $85 billion? Because that's what it was worth a couple of days ago. Now it's dropped to $54.5 billion. But anyway, for real though, this company has ambitions to build about 50,000 cars this year. They'll have to double what they've already produced year to date. They also have a serious cost problem. They want the VF8 to sell about 46,000. That's about $700 less than the Model Y, yet it has a 100-mile less range. So a lot of loose ends there, Brendo.
We were discussing in the pre-market this morning the fact that, volume yesterday, still very high. This morning in the pre-market was a little bit lower and continued that way throughout the day. So the pullback is on, it would appear, guys, for VFS.
It is, and if it breaks 23, there is a chance on this stock that it could do something interesting to the downside today. So it's kind of obvious to show you guys this double bottom. You're underneath both yesterday's support and then day one afternoon support of 20. This was about 23, like half, and then over here is like 24. So you break that double bottom at 23, and things could get ugly. I'm into other EV names, one of which was one of the strongest names in the market today, and then got into this level from a couple of days ago. A big rejection on Rivian, just underneath 22 a couple of days ago. And it was super strong, so it got into that price. It didn't quite get there. So, no look there, but then it came a lower high as the market's rolling over off a resistance from 2 days ago. Played to VWAP. I was trying to, once it was consolidating in here, I thought there'd be another press into VWAP that I could add to, but since it's actually broken down. So I do like the notion of stair step down and short somewhere in the 21.25 to jump back into this on Rivian, which could go red underneath $21. The other one, this is not that difficult to figure out on Mullen. Yesterday was the first day, well, since the reverse, so the reverse split. Oh, I can't go back far enough. I'll have to use a 15-minute chart so that you guys can see. There was a reverse split on Mullen. It went again for the umpteenth time from 10 cents to $1. It then tried to close for has to close 10 consecutive days over $1. It made it 3 days. Yesterday, it failed to. So I'll go back to my 3-minute here, and what happened this morning? It got over $1 very, very briefly. Once it failed the dollar move, I just started shorting it, first at like 99.7 and then at 99, and it's now at 89 cents. I have bids every single penny underneath to see how far we can go here. The aftermarket showed you what I think the move should be, like down to this 85 to 84 area if it wants to pull in the full move that it did in the aftermarket yesterday. But you saw, like the second it closed beneath $1, the sellers just were dumping it yesterday. So I was looking for that trade. Put it in the notes today, and it gave it to you at the open, the fail break of $1 here on Mullen.
All right, just looking here because we are back into a doozy of a position. VFS, okay, yeah, I mean, no trade, no cry on that one today, but yesterday was a great trade for us on VFS. Don't really know why we didn't go back into it there today. Look, we just danced with Google a little bit there, breaking through VWAP. We should not have been involved once it breaks VWAP. We should not have tried the long again. Couple quick ins and outs there. But now we found a level off 130. So right now we're long at 130.10. And then just honestly, just scalping this out right now, starting in the 20s, now getting some more out in the 30s, and just taking another piece out right now at 29. Why not? And then we'll wait to see what happens. I do have some orders a lot higher. I mean, if we can get something near VWAP, that'd be pretty good. Just trying to scalp out a little bit. You know, when you are below here, there's VWAP. Here's the 50 period. You know, this is a scalp kind of a situation now. I don't, you know, you don't want to be trying to pick longs now, because if you're going to try to pick a long, this is not even the area to do it. It's where we just did it right there. We've already talked about this 148.50 trying to hold, 14,850, sorry, trying to hold down there. So if the market can do that, then that would be great, and we'll figure out where to go on that one. But right now, nice little downside move happening in the market. We did pick up some Google down there. Normally, we're trying to get something that's a little stronger in the market, but hey, up 1.24%. Good enough for me, man, today on Google versus a negative market. So, that daily chart, there it is. Don't look so good. This is why we pick it. The other one that I thought earlier today would have been a good trade was Amazon. That looks like a good pick off the bottom as well, but we already got sort of, this isn't that bad on Amazon today at all. We're down a cup of coffee, but, you know, tried to pick up all of these bids until eventually it broke. But it looks like even though we leave it, take out that bottom, look where Amazon is right now. Still holding out pretty good. We didn't flush exactly, but that 134.20 area, sometimes you got to get rid of some of this garbage and just try to say, you know what, maybe there's a better area for support, but there it is right there on Amazon as it's trying to go back up. Let's go, Google. Get on your freaking horse, man, and let's see if we can't have some diamond hands with this Google trade, trying to break higher now. Good takedown low. Let's see if we can get going. Next targeted out, right into here, man, 130.50. We had some barcoding there. That's where we were going in and out. We'll see if we can take it on Google. But yeah, not too much talk about VinFast. But the one thing I did want to look at was Rivian. Neil and I talked about this sort of off air. It's like, what was going on with Rivian? It did have some nice spikes right into here, up to $22 again, and now fading. Play this one off of VWAP, I think, at this point. I like shorts, especially stocks that are near volume-weighted average price right now. I like this for a short continuing down through. I'd say Rivian has a good chance to hit day's low again. We done?
I think, well, VFS was the last one, so I'm not sure there's anything else. I want to mention something. We're going to go back to the desk for real Brendan. Fake Brendan? Which
Rundown
one?
brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by everyone you see on the show. See what's moving in the moment. Check out the QR code, bottom right corner of the screen, guys. Take advantage of this if you haven't. Great deal, 20% off. TraderTv20. Shout out to our friends over at Trade Ideas.
Uh-oh, there we go. little like black screen of death. Well, it's because of the shirts, right? So we have to
I was
give
going
you
to
the black
say
screen
the screen went shirt there.
every now and then. I wanted to at least mention these vax names because, you know, whether you're looking at Pfizer, Moderna, they're all really strong today. Pfizer's up 3%, was just charging all morning long, actually bouncing above VWAP. There might be some longs in here today. I mean, if you're looking at the market at the low of the day, like you want to go long in strong stocks, like this off VWAP might be a bit of a thing here. I also like the look of this. You pull up the 15-minute on Pfizer, like this is right up to where it's been trying to break out this 36.5. So it does set up that if it can reclaim this, maybe you get a retest to the high, but it's really Moderna that's been the strong one. And there's a decent, like this could take out the top, right? You're right, Super SPAC Man, BNTX as well. I'm sure every name in this group is doing something similar. Although I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Moderna was looking the strongest. I could be wrong. I didn't actually look up BNTX. I probably should have. But Moderna with this nice little consolidation up top, looking to break out the top. Again, you don't want to play the momentum. If this is where the strength is, sometimes the strength is in the low float runners. Today, it sort of feels like it's going to be in these VAX names. Oh, there's one other thing that we didn't, I think we said this, but I don't know if we said it out loud, Sean, 150 on, it was yesterday.
Yeah, we like that
JP
yesterday.
Morgan at 150. Ooh, I got that bad wick. JP Morgan at 150, there's another bad wick. Was holding that bid yesterday, and then today, it's gonna be hard to see, but it gave up the 150 level without a lot of fanfare, but just glided down a clean dollar. It's now hanging out beneath it. I think this is a good threat to break the lows, or at least give you a short into VWAP off the 150. I think I'd want to be with the trend as opposed to against it. So we're all short. I really think it's like, where can I be adding to it? I just probably missed my chance. Yeah, I could have just gone lower, high, short. I'm not going to get those on Intel. Maybe we wonder about a flat bottom break on Intel. I know Cisco could have been an opportunity if that wanted to break support at 54.90, I believe it is. So if this has a gap to fill, maybe we go gap filling, filling in the gap to the downside as the market is on the low of the day. So if you got your shorts, it's working out of them at this particular point, looking for some new ones. Maybe a Cisco breakdown here might make some sense. Ooh, Tesla just gave up 222. Oh well.
You didn't have the ball.
It was in the money for a while.
So the funny thing is that when I bought mine at 242, the next day it went to 252.
That's my favorite.
Yeah,
number.
we were $10 in the money on ours, and then that didn't last too
So
long.
the story is I had a stink bid for a little bit on Tesla at 222.22 just because I thought it was amusing myself. And at one point this morning, the low of the day was 222.21. So I had gotten my fill on my personal account, and then it was the low. There was a chance I could have been the bottom wick, and it could have gone higher. But of course, now the market's deciding to ruin that fun, and it's going to the downside. So Tesla is weak. Everything else is. I think I'm going to take a shot at this. If Cisco breaks that local bottom, I mean, I don't care how strong you are, man. At some point, with CSCO, whoops, that's jokes. Although I would never have punched short on a random stock. Yeah, if you break out this local bottom, I'm just going to go for the momentum play on Cisco because you can take out this low and then maybe put a stop at 55 and then risk less than 15 cents on Cisco. And if it moves 40 cents, that's like half the ATR, so not that bad if it tries to fill in this gap. The market seems to want lower here.
Okay, so just so you guys are aware, we did take this out again, so we'll go Sirens. Apple just came right back in again, and this is the right way to trade, man. There's no doubt about that in my opinion. When you're below and you're starting to keep going down, you're below the 50 period and the market is still on its way to the downside, you don't, and I'm learning that lesson with Google right now, and it's fine, man. I'm learning this lesson every single day. I mean, first of all, we scalped out Google. We just reloaded it to the short. So am I really or to the long? Am I really learning? But pick the weak names. Apple, 1.47%. Reload them short. Like this was a short right there on that bump, short there on that bump. And now we're actually making lower highs. Boom, boom, boom right now. It's not by much, but it's by 5 cents every time. Nice lower high coming into play again. And look at this, man. Boom, boom, boom. Thrice, 4 times, quattro right there to the downside. And here we go, breaking even lower right now on Apple. And this is what I'm talking about. All right, you know what, man? I'll learn my lesson a little bit and get something out here if I can at 13s maybe, if that's able to give it to me now. All right. Anyways, what we did there was what we did right here was just buy back as it rips through 13, and we obviously get that fill. As we buy back some shares down here at 8 again, just scalping them out, man. Like if we get out at the 50 period moving average, we will just do that. Thank you for all the nice talk in the chat there. Whoever's calling me Shawnee, don't let my wife see that. That's going to be a problem. 130.40 right there for the upside.
That's not who
Rob,
calls
you
you
can call me whatever you want. But there it is right now to the upside. What was that?
Call you late for dinner.
Yeah, late for dinner. Yeah, that's what it would be. Right there, 130.20 right now coming into play for Google. Why not just take a little bit out right here again on the downside, or on the upside? So that's a good one there for GGLE right now. Go Google. Maybe we get a retracement back up, but who knows? Right now for Google, as they're working on some lights, they're working on some cameras.
Yeah,
no, is it power? What are you guys doing?
I don't know what they're doing, but there's Rob.
Mike, oh, wow.
And,
didn't even notice.
Oh, we have a
another
microphone.
up there now.
Oh, okay.
See, there's where we are.
So there's Rob, and that's Mark. You never actually, so Mark is kind of like Wilson. You never get to see his face. He's just sort of always
There
around.
they are.
He's on a ladder somewhere doing something, but you never actually get to see his face. These two are always working. And you know what's hilarious? When all this is being done, who do you never, like, where's Randy? Where's Randy?
You know,
Randy will come by to talk about Tesla or something, but when there's stuff to be done,
no. That's not what Randy's thing is, man.
Randy,
He's just chilling out. He's walking around. He's supervising. He's monitoring said actions. And, yeah,
speaking of actions, all the action is to the downside. There will be there will be no take of an SSR bounce on Mullen. This is a hold until it proves otherwise. And shout out in the chat to a couple of people that just alerted me to Nikola, which could be breaking down as well. Mullen just broke 90, gave 89s and 88s. It's going to continue downside. You could get a 15% move down in, and then come back to this like a few weeks later and say that was absolutely nothing. If this goes to 10 cents, again, like that is the most nonsensical thing I've ever seen, but a pattern is a pattern, and it seems to want to do it again. So I'm mentioning Nikola here only because it's been consolidating after a very muted bounce, and it has a potential flat bottom break in here off of 192. It may not seem like much, but if you can grab 10, 15 cents on Nikola, that's actually pretty good. And if the market's grinding down and this wants to give up support, I think that would be quite spicy. I do have that Cisco stop. It doesn't seem to want to go anywhere just yet, so I'm not going to get into it unless it's breaking support. Like Cisco is a strong stock today. I don't have to tell you guys that. If it can manage to take out that bottom, then I want to get into the short. And if the market bounces off the lows and suddenly is looking strong, I probably cancel that order and don't even think about it. I'm just looking for a bit of a gap fill there on Cisco. Intel, I think I have a better chance of getting more shares of Rivian than right now Intel. Like if Rivian can come in there and give me something in the 20s, I want to try to add to that short position, give it into the 2130. I should be showing you VWAP there. Yeah, give it into 2130. Like that would be the entry next for something like a Rivian. Yeah, I like that look. I definitely like that look on Nikola if you can break out that bottom.
All right, we're
Money,
Yep,
money,
this is what we're doing, and I mean we're here to make money. So let's just call it what it is. If you're a trader, obviously that's what you're trying to do. And right there's Google. We talked about learning from our mistakes and not buying names when we're below on the NASDAQ, especially below the 50-period moving average. So, now that we've done that and, kind of gone against what we're trying to do, I think that scalping it all out, we're out of half now of this as we get up to 25.30. I mean, like I said, the 50 period keeps coming down. We did have our targeted outs near 50s. Now I'm feeling like 40s is probably a much better out. Although now I'll keep my bids or my offers in there. I'm at 47 and 65. Let's see if we can float a little bit on that one. Someone put in the chat that Microsoft's been strong. We only have 10% left of Microsoft, so we did short the living, out of this one and then all the way to the downside. So that was pretty good here on Mr. Softy to the downside. So that was a good one so far as we go. But after that, man, not much else going on right now. Microsoft downside, Neo still downside, looking for some more trades. Oh, what I want to talk about today was we promised you that we would get yellow. going through today. It has not done
now it's a penny
anything.
stock, so.
Yeah, it really all day, man. I've been watching it, looking to trade something on the OTC markets, but it started off pretty good this morning and didn't really have an opportunity because wanted to see a trade, see how the fills were coming in, and it looks like it was pretty good. It went down to 80 cents. This was a name that we did not have for you yesterday, but we do have for you today. So, you know, this is yellow. I don't know. I don't remember the highs it got to. Was it $2 maybe? On
It went higher than that, actually.
Unfortunately, we don't have the charting. I just...
Oh, no, sorry. Yesterday, I think actually 140 was
yeah,
the
but
top.
I mean like once it was on the public market, on NASDAQ.
Oh, like the recent high since the bankruptcy thing, I think it got up to like $4 or $5.
Oh, did it get that high?
Yeah,
okay.
and then pull back. So.
Oh yeah, here I have it right here. I can e-signal actually.
Yeah, it was close to $5.
Puts forward the chart, the symbol. So here's yellow. I just wanted to review it with everybody. That's that because I was wondering what the bottom was because we did come over to Pink Sheets yesterday, and we made that bottom today. What did I say that bottom was today? 80s. Okay, so if you're going to go back here, the low we got there on bankruptcy was 50, 54, 55. So yeah, it's trying to just respect what's happening right now on yellow. So your shares should have just gone right over and then merged into a new symbol, and then check out your broker statement, I guess, to see if it's in, or your account, to see
Ideally,
if it's
you
in
didn't
there
have
right
any.
now. Yeah, ideally, hopefully you didn't have it when it moved down, but probably some people did.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
And you know what the thing is, we talked about this with Jeff Mendel, like how the hell did Luckin Coffee go down at $4 and it's going to come back at 30? So, I mean, maybe there is some hope there. And the other name was Hertz. If you remember, Hertz Global went down, and then our poor friend, man, Carl Icahn, who's not a friend, but we like to call him that.
Greatest
here
moment on
show,
that
Uncle
other channel
Carl.
ever.
Yeah, greatest moment ever with him and Bill Ackman.
They'll never do
on
better.
Herbalife when they were calling each other's crazy names. I don't know if they were both Jewish or not, but that was getting thrown around there. There was some crazy stuff that was happening.
It's a quote. I think he called Bill Ackman. Maybe I'm paraphrasing, but he called him he was basically like a playground crybaby or something.
Yeah,
like
something like that.
That's harsh words. A couple of billionaires going at it. It was good TV. We gotta get to this HKIT for a second here because this is wild. To say it's up 15% really doesn't describe what happened on the stock even remotely. So it's halted at, let's get the nuts and bolts, it's halted at 2028 with a tap of 2025. It's indicating an open of flat in about a minute or so. But this stock flushed, 5 million share float, flushed, got cut in half, and is now breaking out. Now, if you wonder what it looks like when shorts get trapped, it's something like this. Because anybody that was like, yeah, we're winning on this, and they're like, yeah, well, if it comes back, it's got to be a short. Because if I was looking at this, I'd almost 100% if I was looking at this and it paid for locates, I'd have been short here. Which wouldn't have been that bad because I would have gone $2 in the money and then you could stop out, break even. But if you're still short this name, they're bleeding and getting destroyed after that pullback. Like they just look at the daily chart on this and then look at how confident I guess shorts must have been. Like this is nasty on this HKIT. It's opening back up right here. I don't have locates. It might actually halt almost immediately. Like it opened higher and immediately started testing 22. So if you're watching this, congratulations if you're in the money. I don't think I'd be looking to short this unless it went to like $50, like 40, something ridiculously stupid, or just breaking down and like multiple levels. So crazy move there. Guys, just want to make sure we keep track of it. Tesla is absolutely flushing now underneath that 22. I think it's just a short beneath the previous low, which is 221. 221 and a half. I keep saying 22 because of my bid this morning. 221 and a half is that low. It's just consolidating underneath it. Like if I'm not going to get a pop in Rivian to VWAP, this is giving you an entry off of 221 and a half at least.
Okay, I just wanted to shout out to Weaver Welder right now. So what are my settings for VWAP? So there has been some talk in there. Oopsies. There has been some talk in the chat for that. So thank you, Weaver Welder, for that. Volume weighted average price is obviously something that I'm using every single minute on the show all the time to judge momentum, to judge sort of where the stock wants to go, and then are we buying above or below the volume weighted average price? Often, big hedge funds or traders are going to want to get the price as far away or close to the VWAP depending on what they're doing. So often they'll say, okay, I want you to go in there and buy me 100,000 shares of Apple. Well, if the VWAP at the end of the day is 179.50, they're going to judge it based on did you get better than the average price today or worse than the average price today. So often if the VWAP is 179.50 and you're able to get your clients long at 179.40, then you saved them basically 10 cents on the average price. So a lot of the time you'll see stocks sort of float back up to VWAP or head back in there as traders, you know, once it's away and you got to get short, then they start shorting it and getting the better prices into VWAP. So that's often where people will use that. And then I also saw some on the chat there, and it's exactly right. There is no settings. It's a simple formula. So the sum of volume times price divided by volume. That's what it is. And then I just wanted to show you here as well that even on our settings right here. So, you know, I'm using the 200 period simple, 50 period EMA. 21 period simple, and you could see you could put in the values here. You could go input high, low, close is what I use. But for VWAP, we don't have any settings whatsoever. So.
What it can, I think for some platforms, I think you're able to decide when it starts counting. So
yeah,
like,
you could use an anchored VWAP we've had on the show.
Yeah, and like
before.
also for the day, like you can have it start at 9:30. You can have it started like in the pre-market if you wanted to. On our side, in Pete Pro 8, it's just you have a default setting for when the data turns on. So it's not, we don't have that optionality. I think on other platforms maybe you do. So that could be the only thing you're looking for. I completely forgot about AMC $4, and that's because I canceled my breakout order when it pulled back. I had the long off the 380 break or 385 break. We're in the long into $4, and then it flushed off $4. I'm like, oh, it's back underneath 380. Cancel that. It's not going to break out today. It's pretty much done. And so when AMC just now broke 4, it might end up failing this break. I ended up getting in here at 03. I should have had this the first time through, but I'm in it now at the 03. I should have had like 1s and 2s the first time. I got a dip there. Wild. I completely gave this one up when it pulled back underneath the original breakout, but AMC is trying to fill in the gap, up 7.5% as the market is down. Good for them, but we got our favorite guest here, well, one of them anyways. We got Mr. Frank Caberna at the desk with Brendan.
There he is, Frank Caberna, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago, back with us once again. It's been a wild week, Frank. I was going to mention there for some of these rates that continue to just march higher and higher and higher, no stopping whatsoever. All week long, we get the highest levels on a couple of them in a couple of decades here today. The market still, as a result, obviously pricing in higher rates for longer. What are we going to need to see here to stop this train to the upside?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, a couple of things, starting with a potential move lower from the Fed, because, yeah, we'll get to in a second, not only, long-term rates moving higher, but short-term rates are also climbing. But the headline here, Brendan, has been the 10-year getting above 4.25% for the first time since 2007. And that's really sending certain markets into odd environments. And to your point, it's not a huge move higher here in rates or a huge move lower in notes or bonds. It's been a grind higher in rates and lower in those bond prices. I believe it's 6 days in a row now in the direction of higher for rates, lower for those bond prices. And I mean, a couple of interesting things going on here. That 4.25% feels kind of random, but when you include more data, you and I looked at this a little bit earlier in the week when they were teetering on this level, but now broken through it as of today, the last 24 hours of trading. Why is this number so interesting or important? Well, because it's the high since 2007, Brendan, and then it is essentially the low from 1990 to 2003 as well, when you rope in more data from this 10-year yield. And it has a lot of people thinking about whether or not this is the high for the last several years and will be the high for the coming years, or this is the low for the coming high interest rate environment that we could be living in for the next several years. Because you go back to 1990 and obviously you see this 10-year in a range of 4% to as high as 8%. So a lot of interesting things at play historically with this 4.25 interest rate that we're at for the 10-year. We'll see if they hold on to it and build, or do away with this. And I think it would take U.S. stocks moving lower significantly to get these rates to budge. But right now, 1% lower in the NASDAQ on a day like today isn't going to shake these interest rates or shake Fed Chair Powell.
Yeah, and you saw there briefly as we came off that shot, though. But as you were saying, what was the previous low has now become kind of a sticking point here to the upside for longer term, or that 10-year type of a rate. There's a couple of events coming up here. One specifically, we touched on it a little bit today, but Jackson Hole, which is going to be, maybe the next stopping point as far as news headlines are concerned for this inflation battle. And I say that simply because of what happened the last time. You rewind the clock back to last year when Fed Chair Powell made his remarks at Jackson Hole, the market did. That was essentially what kicked off that initial round of selling.
Yeah, it'll be a really interesting meeting next week because I think a lot of people who will be reporting from that event will be harping on this exact price action and trying to get anything going into the next Fed meeting that's still, it feels like we've been 3 to 4 weeks away for a month now, still 3 to 4 weeks away from that next FOMC. And you know this better than anyone, Brendan. What they say at Jackson Hole will go miles in terms of pricing in what happens at that FOMC, where the event itself, when it finally arrives, what is probably going to happen will be priced into the market at that point. So yeah, in a lot of ways, next week's Jackson Hole meeting will be a bigger event than a potential rate hike or cut or unchange itself. And interestingly enough, it's not just that 10-year that's climbing higher, although long-term rates are unraveling a little bit of that yield curve inversion that we've been stuck in for over a year. But some of the projections for what the Fed could do by the end of the year are marching higher as well. We've been going back and forth between, is 5% it? Are they going to cut down to 4% next year? At one point, they were pricing in a cut down to 4% by the end of this year. Now, putting more and more juice into the rate hike potential here. And we're also seeing an outside chance of not only hiking 25 basis points by the end of the year, Brendan, but hiking 50 basis points, albeit it's 3 or 4% chance as of right now. But like you and I look at so often, these odds can shift so quickly. And another run up on inflation fear or anything can shake these odds from 1 or 2 rate hikes to 2 or 3 for the rest of the year. And I think that would really freak out the stock market. All of that being said, they can do away with those hikes just as quickly as they priced them in as well.
And I keep going back to this, but it's worth mentioning, I think, in the last FOMC meeting, in the press conference specifically, Fed Chair Powell walked through, and we've spoken about this before, but he walked through the process of how they went from a number in a row at 75 basis points, and then they came down to 50 basis points. They did a number in a row at 50 basis points, and then a quarter point, and now they're kind of one on, one off, one on, one off. Do we see that kind of one on, one off here for a while?
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see when that one on, one off concludes and it's just off. I think that everybody thought that was going to be the last rate hike. Everybody keeps thinking that it's going to be the next rate hike is going to be the last rate hike here. And though they've slowed down, obviously, from the pace that they were at in 2022, I think Powell keeps tipping his hand to we're slowing down, but we're not potentially stopping here. And every leg higher that the Fed takes in the Fed funds rate, getting to 5.5%, where we currently are. You just saw the odds, 20-30% chance that they get to 5.75, and then that outside chance that they get to 6% by the end of this year. Every leg higher there, Brendan, will theoretically bring a leg higher in that 10-year. and the mortgage rates and all these different news stories that you're seeing around it. And so the yield curve on the whole moving higher, 10 years starting to outpace that short-term interest rate a little bit. Like I say, unraveling the yield curve inversion a little bit, but we're still inverted. And I think you and I agree that historically speaking, of course, anything can happen in the future, but historically speaking, the yield curve inversion has always come undone. And it looks like this might be the first time that we're undoing that yield curve inversion to the upside, which means that 4.25%, 4.5% in the 10-year could be the start if Fed is going to hold short-term rates around 5 to 6%. That 10-year could have even more room to go here. It'll be really, really interesting to see. We're not seeing so many extremes in the stock market. Oddly enough, U.S. stocks, though we've seen a little fear the last couple of days, are digesting these highs in interest rates relatively well. But we're seeing a ton of extremes across commodities, Forex, and everything else in line with this interest rate move.
Yeah, we've seen that pullback in the NASDAQ not only start, but continue to kind of grind back to the downside as well, which if you go back to the last time we talked about this, we highlighted in the sense that when that yield curve starts to work its way back the right direction or the opposite direction of what we've seen, that's when you typically see the sell-off in equities begin. And that move down typically begins when the yield curve actually starts to work its way back. I want to make sure we get to this China angle here, because a lot of people are, or have been, over the past couple of weeks and months here, talking about how weak China has been over that time period and how weak it appears they're going to be for the foreseeable future. Why does this matter?
Yeah, this is another piece. It's funny how these things go. I always talk about, whenever we see a price extreme like we're seeing in interest rates, or like we saw in US dollar last year against euro and a bunch of other markets, it's rarely one event, right? It's rarely like, oh, it's just inflation and that's it. And interest rates is no different this year. Interest rates really kind of the US dollar story of last year. A couple of things going on. It's not only Fed Chair Powell, what he has to say and where they're potentially moving rates, and the long term is finally buying into that, and that's why we're getting up to 4.5% or so in the 10-year. But there's also this looming China piece that's factoring in. A lot of people will call out this story, once or twice a year, and it can be this sensationalist thing that doesn't maybe actually have too much truth to it. But this time around, you're seeing some significant outflows of Chinese investment away from these U.S. treasuries. And it's for meaningful reasons. A lot of times it'll be politicized, but the Chinese economy is doing so poorly recently. And here we have just the stock performance to kind of show you that that underperformance from China relative to the U.S. I mean, these two stock markets, they can converge and diverge all they want. But when you look at the year-to-date performance here and the S&P outperforming Chinese large cap stocks by almost 30% as of yesterday, that's some pretty wild divergence in a matter of months. This isn't over the course of the last year or since the start of the pandemic or what have you. This is in 2023, where if you're in the US or you're in the Eurozone, pretty much anywhere globally, you're feeling good about the recovery coming off of last year. Not so in China. And a lot of the data that has been pushing the Chinese economy lower has been pushing the Chinese yuan lower. As you see, these are highs in US dollar since 2015. And actually before that, because IG, we don't even have data going back that much further to show you how historical of an extreme it is, but it is a pretty healthy extreme here. A lot of it coming from the trade balance number that we got a week or so ago. And overnight, there was even more news around how the data points could actually be worse from China than they're letting on. What does this all have to do with US interest rates? Well, China has been one of the largest holders of US treasuries, and up until a few months ago, held over $1 trillion in US debt. And now they're actually in the 800 billion mark and have been descending for months and months and months here. And you do have to at some point correlate that drop off in demand from China to interest rates moving higher in the US, and obviously US Treasury prices moving lower with that inverse relationship there. So not only the inflation piece, not only the Fed piece moving interest rates higher here in the US, but Chinese lessening demand for US Treasuries also moving those rates higher and pushing this US dollar higher as well. So a ton of kind of weird, interesting factors all rolled up into this interest rate story that are causing huge extremes across Forex and across a bunch of commodities as well. You see gold giving up a bunch of ground, and we'll see where it all shakes out. For the time being, it may seem like a lot of damage being done to the NASDAQ and some of these single stocks, but stocks feel like they're holding in better here in the US, that is, than most of these major asset classes.
Yeah, and on a day when, you know, all of the Chinese equities or Chinese US listed ADRs are, or started the session anyways, a lot higher on headlines suggesting that there's more stimulus coming from the Chinese government, or potentially anyways. So more to come as far as the China front is concerned. I was just double checking to see if there was an actual date for when Fed Chair Powell was going to speak at Jackson Hole. I mean, it's the 24th to the 26th, but I didn't see an actual time or date yet for that speech. But one to mark on the calendars for sure, coming up next Thursday and Friday. Frank Caberna is Director of Strategy over at IG in Chicago. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brennan.
Thanks as always there, Frank. And you know what? The market usually responds well when Frank is on. It's trying to get off the bottom. There's no question about that. Like, we haven't had a red candle. We haven't had a green candle on my 15 minutes since this would be just before 1 o'clock, so 12:45. This will be the first one, bouncing 14.8. The ES got underneath 4,400, and it's trying to put in a green candle of its own. I am in that Tesla. I got the Cisco breakdown. I'll get to that in a second, but Tesla just popped in here. Let me zoom back in so you can see it. That's 221.50, which was the previous low from the morning. It then held, so I'm going to short into that. Just kind of go with the trend here. If it makes a fresh low, then work this off the bottom. If we're just continue making lows all day, I mean, there's really not much else that you're going to do except for reload shorts, take profit out in shorts. I did get the first move down in Cisco just there with the market bouncing up. If it gets into 55, I'll probably try to short something in here underneath the 55 level. While this was all going on, I got wicked out of AMC. Now, the market was tanking. It shouldn't have mattered. I could have given it a little bit more room. I decided I wanted to risk it to just under the $4 level. I stopped out. That ended up being right on that bottom at 398, and it got right back in, rejecting the same 4 or 5 top. So AMC is still in the pocket where it could go. Maybe even like, if it holds 398 again, I might take like 4 on the way back up or 401 on the way back up if it can hold 398 on the second dip. So if it holds on the dip a second time, I probably jump back in the long at a better price, 4 or 4 even. This is one name that is at the high and going higher. That isn't one of the vaccine names, at least. I mean, obviously, you know, Moderna is doing its thing, and Pfizer and BNTX, et cetera.
All right. Yeah, I actually like some of those names there, as there is apparently some sort of a new COVID strain going around. You can kind of find out about that if you want, do your own research. I don't know. Okay, so right here, 372 likes. What's up with that? 4,000 watching. We just had Frank Caberna on. I mean, I think we got to get a little bit higher than that. 373. Hit the like button and the subscribe and the share now that you have found us. So, all right. Well, here we go. Okay. AMD is making a nice move down. We got to put something on the bid, don't we? Oh, there we go. We'll take a little bit of a profit right there and go.
Awesome.
There we go. We shorted that 105 breakdown. I'm actually waiting to get much more aggressive on the price if we can get anywhere near this 200 period moving average, and then use VWAP as our out. But we'll take it instantly in here, 15 pennies. just taking out 20% is nothing. Maybe we can get back in here for AMD. Again, AMD's just kind of been bouncing around for me all day. 104.70. Okay, let's put a bid down there. I feel like now that this range has sort of been put in here on the day, and it looks like we just want to head to the low side now. Look at this 50-period moving average, just doot all the way to the downside right here. So no reason to change up anything that we're doing right now on the market. So let's just continue to hold onto the shorts, man. I mean, we've got some bangers on right now. Obviously, Apple's $1+ in the money as that continues to go down.
Money.
We just put this on, guys. Like, I don't know, you know, sometimes when it's working, it's working. This is now 30 cents for AMD as it's going to the downside right now. We just took that out, some out again at 70. So it's not that we're trying to scalp this. The NASDAQ's only down 1%. We could have a lot more to go on this name and on the NASDAQ as well. But we haven't done that well on AMD today. It really threw us for a loop early, and then we got it here, which is fine. Actually, this is an overfill right there. We were bidding 105. We had less shares because we took more out here than we thought, and we got in and out there. But here's a nice little tank back down if you want to look out, hey, what was this guy doing on Google? Well, we were buying 130s a bunch of times. Our best out there, 130.30, as you can see. Then we tried it one more time, then it came back in, and we dropped it off immediately at 130 again. So no problem there. We got out of the way as this one's now coming in pretty decently as well. I know, Neil, Tesla was stronger earlier.
It was strong after I bought this morning.
You know what? Like I said, man,
today.
I went $10 in the money, and just like you, I don't think we're scalping out these positions. I'm trying to buy Tesla for a longer hold, but right in there,
I'm buying more.
Yeah, exactly. So into 220 right now. This is that level that we keep on talking about. Oh no, our charts are probably going to collapse here in a minute. Let's do that. Okay, that this has come in right into 220 again. So realistically, 216 maybe there. And again, you know, this has been a disastrous August for these guys. I mean, we started the month at 260, and since then, this month, 0 green candles. I mean, I guess this is one right there on the 14th, but other than that, little blip there, not really giving us any love, but straight to the downside. Oh, wait a minute, if I'm gonna say from August 1st, which is right here, there was one green candle right there. But 270 basically to start the month, and now down to 220. So giving up $50 on 270, almost down 17 and a bit % this month for Tesla. So yeah, it's really getting, you know, the what kicked out of it here. So let's just wait to see what does happen now.
It's getting the old.
Yeah, it's getting the old boot. What did you
hit?
Hey, oh no, animations are down.
Animations aren't working. Oh.
Yeah. He's on.
So I hit the one where it's like me flushing. I'm not going to spin around in the chair, but it's like the flush down the toilet was what I was trying to hit. Not that it's going down the toilet, but it's going to the downside, which is pretty obvious to everybody. I did get that Rivian. Remember I said the next consolidation down in Rivian, I'd add back into the short. I haven't done anything since the top of the day, 21.68. So I've added some down underneath like 21 at the teens. It just gave you the bottom of the range here, so you've got a decent range for the second time, 21.17 at the top, 21.03 at the bottom. It was doing the same thing around VWAP, so we'll scalp that range, then hold some for lower. Doing a similar thing with Cisco. Just gonna check back. I mean, Tesla, I was looking for, okay, I'm obviously not gonna get any more of Tesla. It was, I promise you, like it was about to, I felt like it was about to get filled. I was going to try and get some more when it rejected that 21.50, and now it's back at the low of the day. So if it gets back up, I will look for a place to add, hold it to 220, just see how far we're going to go arrows down. I almost hit a key again, but it doesn't really matter because we can't hit our animations. What's crazy is these vaccine names are really good. Like they are going. It's hard to want something long at these lows, but Moderna keeps threatening breaking the high. Maybe it's the market that's holding it up from doing that. I don't know. But this looks really strong to the upside. I'm going to check back in on AMC and probably hate myself because my guess is it's back through the high. Nope. It's held on to 98 and is only now getting above 4. So I can re-enter this, maybe even getting, let's see if I can get the midpoint. Maybe even getting the midpoint and still give it just underneath. I should have just hit. So I'm going to get on ones here, see if I can grab that, give it to 98. At the end of the day, if you're going to go long something in a weak market, at least find something that has relative strength. And the other plus would be that it's a squeeze name, so it doesn't really care about fundamentals. So why does it matter that the market's going up if AMC wants to take out the top? As far as I'm concerned, it's attempting to fill in the gap from just last week. and it's not really moving that fast. But if it can kind of grind itself up to 420 here, that would be just fine by me. It's not like there's any other longs out there. Well, I'm sure there's something, you guys. But there's not any other longs that I'm seeing that aren't Moderna, Pfizer, AMC, that HTK, what was it? What was that symbol? HTIK? HKIT, HKIT. That was the other one, but that was kind of in the no bucket zone for me for chasing those longs. It's way too far to the upside, and it's a squeeze play. The spread is 40, 50 cents on this, which is pretty crazy. But if you had it from the bottom, like after all those halts down, you get the first halt up, sometimes that's a great trade. Because you get that first halt up, and if you're long anywhere in here, you're just kind of holding it, and if it gets back underneath like 10 bucks, you just sort of say, okay, fine. But it could home run all the way back up to 17, which is exactly what this one did.
All right. Oh, yeah. Hit the money, money, money thing. Does not work right now, but there it is right there. I mean, if you're rocking with this was a trade I just gave right now. There's 50 cents. I mean, this was exactly the trade that we wanted. 105 breakdown. We actually wanted higher than that, but there it is. Now let's take some out. We did target this area for you guys right into there, so that was good. We did, I mean, I don't know. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's just do a damn roll call. We're just, you know, let's go. All right, what's up to Cap? What's up to Nick Dub? Oh, did we get any likes or 500 likes? Okay, I'm surprised I'm doing this. Compar SX1, what's up, my guy? Hey, Lemonade Galaxy. That would be a great galaxy if it was full of lemonade. Probably not. What's up to Derek S? What's up to Larry Wanta? Bulls versus Bears. Bears versus Bulls. Mark, Lone Sophos. Dan, yo, what's up, Dan, my guy right there? Look at this short, Dan. You like that? I know you like that. Right now, let's go to Matt Carnes as well, Steve. Britt Burden, everybody that's in here, thank you so much. And make sure that you do join me at 4 o'clock. We'll have tons of fun here today. And I just actually tweeted it out. Today's guest, of course, here it is on, oops, that's not it. Right here. Today's guest after the close, Miss Danielle Shea from Simpler Trading will be with us. We will discuss some options plays, maybe some retail plays as well. I told her to have a look at Target and Walmart and what she thought maybe moving forward on that one. But there it goes, man, right back in. This is how we're doing it. It's a great short right there, just giving right to you right now. Oh yeah, and by the way, we also talked about Microsoft, which is now $3. Uh-oh. I mean, today, Dollar Club winners, currently, Apple, but this was a Dollar Club a long time ago. Apple, currently Dollar Club member today. Google, wow, we already know about that one. That was a Dollar Club all day, every day. Microsoft putting in the work right now as well. And then you know what? We talked about this earlier when Neil had Palantir, and we said, like, maybe that wouldn't be able to go to Dollar Club. Maybe Neo could get into the Dollar Club as well. Right now, 75 cents. We're going to see if that can come through. It's not about the Dollar Club for any of these levels, to be honest with you. That's just a fun little thing that we're doing. Right now, Neo is back to 1150 right here. So I don't know. Let's just see if it breaks it. This is a good spot to take some out, so you can do that. But let's see if this market wants to give it up. The rest of the, oh my God, we're going to have AMD maybe join the Dollar Club soon as well, as this continues to make moves lower, lower, lower into 104. The funniest part about AMD is that if you look back on the sticky notes, which I've collected them all here, I have a whole crap ton of them down there. I'm not sure I have a long with AMD targeted too much since we broke through this 130 mark and we gave us that top. Since then, we've really been pounding the table to the short, and in our own account also raising some capital to do exactly that, buying some of these dips. The latest one we bought, of course, was that 240 on Tesla. I think that's going to be a wrong call. Hello?
There's Kathy.
Shit, there she is. Hello, Aunt Kathy.
She's not buying any of the things that we have. Actually, do I have anything? Oh, well, she could be buying Tesla. She just sold some, so maybe she sold at the right time to then pick more up. But they own so much of Tesla, it probably doesn't matter. I don't know if they own any Cisco. They damn sure don't own any Intel. If they own Mullen, then she needs to have her head checked. But yeah, like today is one of these days, all you had to do was be looking short and then look to add to the short, and then look to add to the short, and then add to it again as many times as you could. Rivian has rolled over through 21 even, so we did grab that 21 quarter reload. We did have the high of the day. I'm out of all my 2170s at this point, so I'm only in this 2112 short now. So we're out of these. Now we're into this short as it breaks down toward the low of the day. It will, I mean, if it is already red on the day, so I don't want to say it will close red after being one of the strongest stocks in the market, but it looks like it's going to close red. Tesla just broke 220, so that is continuing to roll over. I feel like I just want to be trailing this one out. If it gets back into like 220.50, that would be a little bit weird with the market heading to the downside. I also grabbed the Cisco short, which was a simple breakdown trade. Kind of take the break as it makes this move, give it to 55, and then just throw the bids out there. Cisco does not really move that fast, so it's very unlikely it does anything sudden. It should just drip, 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 and if I get stopped out or trailed out, it's kind of handling itself there. I never added to Intel, but we are still getting out of this one. I didn't really find a great spot to add above VWAP, and I could have taken the breakdown, but we grabbed Rivian instead. So I'm still in the same position for about 1 o'clock in Intel as this gets down toward the low of the day. I don't know what to tell you. It'd be nice if the longs would have worked out, but I did try one on AMC. This time, instead of losing 5 cents, I lost 3.5. So I've been trying an IMC. It was much better than 385 break. That gave you into $4. Obviously, that's kind of obvious to see that, but the top at 4, just nothing wants to go for the long side, so you just got to be hanging on to your shorts, adding to your shorts. It's been a bias pretty much all day long. That's what's made it such a good day. I actually didn't look at Palantir again. Let me just, it is at 14, isn't it? That's kind of fun. I didn't think it was getting to 14. I trailed this one out, and it actually is going to get to 14 after the 15 break. So, yeah, Palantir did eventually go $1.50 because at the beginning of the day, I wasn't sure till it broke 15, but it was at 15.50. This is actually, is this SSR? Did it hit? No, yeah, SSR is underneath $14 actually. Wow, Palantir is really giving it up. Where is the, I'm just looking at the daily chart thinking out loud here because it's got to become, yeah, it's coming into some really big levels on the daily. 13.50, that was a big support level for Palantir. I mean, 10 sign a lot of people probably up if it got to the 200 period moving average. We're gonna test a major level on Palantir tomorrow, if not today at 13.50. But as we said, the market is straight up flushing, going to the short-term gates of hell, long-term buying opportunity, short-term gates of hell, because we're traders. We are all about the short. So hang on to your butts, everybody. There's been lots of good ones to be able to get into. Now the job is to hold on to them and sort of grab your profits on the way down here.
I mean, I'm kind of speechless as, yeah, we've given the traders the goods, I'm hoping, here today on some of these plays that we've had as I'm watching AMD continue to make some new lows right now and just ticking lower. I mean, I was kind of like, is AMD going to join the dollar club? I mean, this name just continues. It's too bad that we're still not net short. We got out at 105 as this is just collapsing in, man. This is not even a huge day for the NASDAQ to the downside. And the thing is that we've done the work for you. And I don't know. I'm glad that everyone's watching the show, and I want everyone to keep on watching it. But we already looked at this level. Remember when we went all the way back, and I talked about these June lows right there? Well, that did not hold at all. And I said if we broke 14,900, watch out for that 14,850, and then there it is right there. It's now lower by 100 handles off of that level alone right there. Microsoft is now $4 in the money, so that's going to be a great trade there for MSFT today. But there's the NASDAQ, and it's unlike Frank, we're never going to give him up. This has gotten given up big time right now. And again, as yields go, as China worries continue, I mean, I don't know. I was trying to tell. I mean, I was getting out of some of my positions, like I said, and it's always hard to do that, especially when you do look at your portfolio, and if you're over levered to technology, it's been a little bit of a rough run, but I do see what Nick W is trying to get our attention. Shout out to you, Nick W. I was trying to ask about NVIDIA and the gap fill, so I don't know exactly what gap fill you're talking about. I talked about this with Daniel Shea on the show. This was that last earnings call where they absolutely blew it out of the water. They went from $4 billion to $11 billion in projected future sales revenue. So for this quarter, we'll see what number they come up with now on the 23rd. Now you're just days away from that one coming through. If you're talking about a gap fill to 400, yes, that's not even going to be a gap fill. I mean, I think you can retest that. We were just down here not too long ago before making that move up, and I think was it Morgan or Goldman? Somebody put a nice upgrade on them and call. I think it was Morgan Stanley. This is the day that we got railroaded because we were just short the whole day. It wasn't even NVIDIA. I think it was both of them, AMD and NVIDIA. Made the moves right back up, and it kind of sucks that we had lost because we're right. The next 3 days, you are trying to retrace back down. So I still think that you're going to wait for earnings. For me, I'm not, sipping any of that Kool-Aid. I'm going to wait to see what happens on their earnings call. And again, just to take a line from Kramer, I honestly believe this with NVIDIA. I think it's just a hold, don't trade. And it's just one of those things. You could join me at 4 o'clock where we'll talk all about this. I'm going to take some questions from the viewers today. It should be a really good one. And we do have Danielle Shea coming on, talk about options. I'll throw her the NVIDIA question as well if you guys want. We have covered that a couple times on the show, but I don't think it's worth doing anything until, get out of here, Fly, until you get that number from NVIDIA. So let's wait to see what it is. If it's shy of 11 billion, you can see you later on that one. I mean, you will break 380 and then you will cover that gap. I don't know if it'll gap all the way back to $3 billion. I think this story's still intact, right? They're the only player in town with these high performance chips. And it's not like it's easy just to open up a foundry and go ahead and start making all of these chips again. So NVIDIA has the goods right now. We know AI is a thing, is going to be a thing and currently is a thing and is not going anywhere. So I would say if you believe in that story, then you believe in NVIDIA. It's just for me, I don't believe in these prices right now, but I don't have to. I mean, what are you going to do? Short Amazon all the way up as it's going from like $5 to $3,000? Based on valuation, you're going to short Tesla when it moves up 700% in a year.
Look at the weekly chart of NVIDIA. Look at the weekly chart of NVIDIA, and you tell me where are you? Okay, the trend is breaking. Concerned, 270, 280. It would have to be under $250 maybe, well underneath 300 before you convince anybody that they're scared of anything with this name. And the dips have been getting bought up en masse. So it just, for something like this, I think you'll hold on to it. For a trading vehicle, it's great for us because, if it pulls back, that's just all the better. The more it breaks levels like 400, you get some crazy action. Remember Tesla when it was going, everyone's like it's way too overvalued. Sort of the same thing in here. You're making a bit of a test. Let me just go over to the NASDAQ here. There hasn't been a green candle, and you're really into levels that are pretty nonsensical. And it's the same thing. You're just extending lower, but there is a bit of a base forming. If you look at the lower time frame chart, like a 15-minute chart, you're forming a bit of a base there on the NASDAQ. So I'm holding on to Rivian. I'm scalping out of Tesla, and Mullen will get to it whenever. That stock is kind of a hold. I don't really think anything's going to happen. I don't think they're going to be able to close that one above $1 today, obviously. So Rivian just got down to 2085 and is trying to put in a lower high here at that 21. If it resolves lower and the market takes out the low, I feel like I can get back into this one down around that 21 area. Just keep on riding the train into the downside. I cannot be convinced that there's anything that looks great for a long. I'm not seeing it. I would have, in a different scenario, I probably would be trying Moderna or Pfizer, given their relative strength. I think that's where you want to go. This is taking out the bloody top. Maybe it is a long. It is going to take out 106 here. It's a very slow grind to the upside. It's just hard to punch long at the high when the market's tanking. I don't know about you. It's just when the shorts are this easy,
punch.
You really want to. You want to punch, even if it's up 7%, like Moderna, as strong as it is, it's not exactly doing enough volume for a breakout either. That's the other problem. Where is the volume on this chart? Even if I do this, you'd like to see it's starting to pick up. I guess it could tick up again there through 106. I'm going to pass on it, and then maybe we'll regret that. We should be looking at this, for sure we should be looking at this tomorrow because it's just held on to 100 on the daily. Wicks under 100, holds 100, breaks back out. Mini rally back into the 50 period is well within the bounds of something like a Moderna or any of these names, BNTX, Pfizer, maybe a different story. It's not quite the volatility vehicle that you're going to get from an mRNA as a day trade. Pfizer, it'll grind higher. Moderna will fly higher, and that's why I would prefer to trade this. It might just be a tomorrow thing. I'd rather not chase the high here, but it's a good start for Moderna.
All right, so one of the red stocks that we have here today, unfortunately, it hasn't really done anything the rest of the day. Well, it's unfortunate for everybody because would like to get into a trade right now. Yeah, this Hawaiian Electric
I'm surprised.
right now is just doing this. So we were short here off 12. I mean, I feel like fine about this trade. There's 12 right here. This is exactly, it's going to be an L because we don't have any outs. We just have one out, and it was breaking 12. And I was pretty happy when it broke. I mean, when it broke, it came right back in. So initially we weren't super happy, but then it came back into those levels and popped back up again and touched 1250. So pretty happy taking a 30-cent hit, but it has come back in. And then now this is sort of the definition of barcoding. It's not doing a heck of a lot, which I find really unique about this name. I mean, we've had a couple big-time movements in the last, like this was yesterday. We were 16 bucks, closed the day basically. I mean, where's the close? The close, well, it halted into the close, but 1250 reopening today. But big movement there yesterday in the afternoon. We'll sit here and watch it in case there is another move on this name. And of course, as you know, Hawaii, I don't even know what's even still happening over there right now, but as they're going to try to rebuild themselves, there are lawsuits pending and everything like that. So, you know, it's never great to trade names like this. And some people will have, you know, moral, you know, people won't trade Philip Morris or Altria or things like that, or any of the defense, you know, LMT or Smith & Wesson or things like that. And that's completely fine. I do understand that. But if this does break 11, I think you're going to get some more downside push. I mean, look how sad this is. It really does suck, not only for holders of this company, which might be people that even live in Hawaii, right? Like, so that really sucks. And there's the big move down for HE, and really no love to the long today other than when we got stopped out. Go figure on that one. All right, just quickly here, we do have AMD on board. It is coming back in. I'm not bidding 10s. I'm bidding 104 flat-ish down there. I'm actually bidding 104.04. So there you go. Now you know the price. Hopefully we can come down in. And I'm just bidding that ahead of 104. I still think we take it out. We are well below the low. We just put this trade on for you about a half hour ago. It's made some nice moves to the downside. Let's just see if it continues here into that.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, he wants to know about Buffett.
We need to call Warren, because if someone's going to buy up value, well, you don't want him to buy just yet. But if someone's going to buy up value, I don't know what he's going to be picking up, but you know how much cash he has. He's got Berkshire has like a ton of cash. I'm trying not to curse about it, but they have a ton of cash to put to work. And you just feel if this is the rollover, that's exactly what he's been waiting for. So if you have an idea where the value names might be, like there's going to be some interesting bids out there. Everyone knows about Oxy, and they just forever in Apple. I mean, that's a different story, but there's going to be some serious buys out there, I do think, for Uncle Warren. The market, as I was saying, making a little bit of bounce. I trailed out. We took our $1.25 in Tesla. Cisco starting to bounce back up, going to take some profit there as well. You almost have to, the way this is going. The NASDAQ is creeping higher. Should have been along somewhere there. Kathy might buy more Coinbase. Yeah, probably. Now, you don't make those assumptions. What just happened? What happened in Coinbase there? I missed something. That's weird. Okay, so Coinbase actually had a $2 pop just 10 minutes ago? Yeah, I might have missed something on the wire. Apologies there. I didn't.
Bitcoin's down 4%.
Yeah, Bitcoin's getting crushed. I don't know. There's a big volume spike, and Coinbase popped $2 only to come right back in. Wow, that was probably a great shorting opportunity. I was not watching Coinbase. That sucks. Maybe you can buy off that low, but I don't know what was just there. I'll just check Twitter to see what happened. Obviously, with a Bitcoin going to the downside,
it could have been nothing. I mean,
maybe it was nothing. I don't know.
I'm looking to maybe get back into Google or something that's a little bit stronger right now. Google bounced off 129.50 pretty clean there. You know, not much there. Just like, you know, if you're looking at a 50, if this is 15, this is a 20-minute chart. You know, no real reason for it to bounce off 129.50. You know, if anything, we weren't going to get to 128 today, not on that. Well, could have, but not that we went back up to 132 today. That 132, I mean, look how good of a short that was again. There's just so many amazing opportunities every day if you have patience. And I mean, that was a great one. You could have been completely wrong on Google today by going short, but completely right by waiting for that short. So it doesn't, this is why I used to hate it back in the day when we were trading memes and movers and stuff like that was really moving around, and it was like, oh my God, you guys are shorting AMC, like you're the devil. Why would you short AMC? Or you're working for Citadel and all that crap. I mean, it's just, you know, we can change up our opinion. Like I just said, how good was that 132 short? We had huge longs in here today for Google, right? And then I would have put that short on 10 times out of 10. We shorted Microsoft, AMD, Apple instead of Google, but that's a great short. And it would have paid you off quite nicely all the way down to the downside right now. So I don't think it really matters what stocks you pick. Like I said, there is going to be that moral compass on some stocks, but other than that, man, pick your bias, look for key levels, trade off support and resistance, and just get your money in on stocks that you think are at levels that you can understand and that you have it defined out. I mean, it doesn't, that's why I'm saying about that to Neil. It's like we're looking at Coinbase, and sure, it is moving around, and there probably is news.
Something probably happened. I didn't see anything.
I mean, right there, that doesn't create, but, you know, regardless, it's just like that just like on Neo. You know, like, look, who cares what the news is?
I know if I was watching the stock, but it's just,
and that's
you only have so many, well, you have 2 pairs of eyes. You only have so many charts is what I should be saying.
Yeah. I mean, you could wear these, then all of a sudden you kind of have 4 eyes,
Ali
but
G in the
you know,
house.
you don't really have
Where's
that.
Cat?
Right. What do you mean, where's Cat? What is that? Who cares where Cat is? Why?
Oh, I'm just curious.
Oh, you're just curious? Maybe a bathroom break?
She's got like a little tasty, I don't know what's in that mochaccino something there going on. But Warren Buffett is not, like someone just said, Warren buying Mullen? That would be the most hilarious thing of all time. If I was Warren Buffett,
That would not be hilarious. That would be like
on April Fools. Just
what would be the
for,
point
I
of
guess
that?
he can't probably send out like jokes, tweets, or stuff like that because he'd get himself into trouble.
he's also 90 years old. I mean, I
It would
don't
just
know if
be
he's buying-
it would be hilarious if for just once he would like actually do a deep dive into the books on something like this and just be dead honest about it. Like give a because he's really good at going through the balance sheets. I don't know if you listen to any of his talks. He really knows the stuff from fundamentals. I would love to hear what he would like, how he would dress down something like. I'm using the example of Mullen here. It's not to pick on Mullen, but it would just be interesting for me. Speaking of that, it is continuously making lows. On the off chance, I'm just going to remind everybody, on the off chance that some buyers step into this, for the last couple of days, there have been buyers trying to get this to close above $1. I think it's a little far away for it to happen, but if I see anybody pop in for like 1 million shares, and then it goes higher, and then the next half cent or another penny higher, they pop another 1 million shares on the bid, I'm going to get out and I'm going to follow it long. That was the plan of action, and I just missed the chance because it happened at lunchtime yesterday instead of at the close. Like someone did it here, and I was waiting for the end of the day for it to happen to get to $1. If I see at any point someone doing the same thing on Mullen, I think you just join them because they have to close above $1, and people have been trying to push it up there. You can say what you want about that. It's obviously not that right to be pushing stocks, but if it's going to be out there, and you can see a big 1 million share order, they leave it there to be filled, then you can join the party and go long in front of it. Yeah, we got some out Rivian, still holding on to a piece. It does not get to the low of the day. We're at 330, and it's a whopping 42 million to sell, the early look.
Oh, okay.
4.2. That is about as small. We usually 100 million small. Anything with double digits is actually pretty pathetic. But this could be a nice little reload spot for me. I'm looking for a curl opportunity, and right into here, the bottom of the previous consolidation. It's in the range where you show me weakness, and I want to go for it. So that's what I'm going to do here in Rivian. I'm not moving my stop. It's still right underneath that local high, just beneath that 2120. So looking for the curl spot here in Rivian while we still have some time left to go. So maybe reload these shorts. Maybe we get another round to the low of the day. It's been good. It can always get better.
Yeah, we were talking about something that maybe we thought Warren Buffett might come in there and look to buy up. I mean, we know that his second largest holding, I'm just going to find that tweet that I put out, is Bank of America. So as we continue to go down here, I could see him picking some more shares up in Bank of America. We talked about shorting this name until it breaks. Here it is right here. So this is my tweet that I put out the other day. I just copied it off somebody. Oh, I retweeted it. I didn't copy anything. So right here, this is the holdings right now. Apple, 51%, so there's that. Google, sorry. Bank of America, American Express, possibly there. I know there's some Coca-Cola, Chevron. I mean, these are all just about as blue chip as you can get all the way down. Chevron, I mean,
Oxy is ugly.
Yeah, Oxy maybe is the only one that's not overly, exciting unless you do like the oil space. Chevron, obviously, with a big dividend and a buyback there as well. Hewlett-Packard, small 1%. Moody's and Kraft Heinz wrap it up, and then everything else 10%, but there's nothing else more than 1% in all of that. So if we're going to have a quick look then at what we're thinking about here with BAC, I mean, I called it a short. This was on tomorrow's trade. Today, on our 4 p.m. show. I talked about shorting this. Once it got through $30, you want to stay short and remain short on BAC. And again, if you're going to look at this name, here's some good buying opportunities. I think we'll probably step in and pick up some banks if we do get into this area again, down to 26, 27. I mean, what a great area. You know, you came from 38, retested that level again, 37, made dramatic moves down, right? Dramatic moves down before eventually, do we get that? No, we did not get that AMD trade. All the way down here to 27 and change. So I feel like, you know, in all of that sort of confusion, Silicon Valley Bank going bye-bye, things like that, FRC, you know, they held out on 27. So I feel like this is a good level if you want to pick up something up. People said, what do you think he'll be buying when it comes in? And I just think, you know, the same as usual.
I'd make a guess
as it goes on. Yeah, go ahead. What do you think? Yeah.
You know, and it's only based on the chart. Like I gotta feel like if he's been hanging on to Hines, which hasn't really done all that well, and if he likes it, on the weekly, have a look at where KHC is. On the weekly, look at the support at like 32.65. Now I'm not just saying this because of when Occidental has supported. We always find out that that's exactly where he is buying the stock. But if you do like it, and if he thinks it's a value, then look at the triple bottom on the weekly that Kraft Heinz is about to pull. Is literally pulling into right now. This has not been a very good stock. You know, they have a dividend in there, but man, I didn't realize how bad that had actually gotten in on Kraft Heinz. It's not really something I ever looked to trade. In hindsight, maybe he should have sold his Kraft Heinz. That's my pun of the afternoon. So I did reload that Rivian on that last little curl. So we've had it a couple times in here today. We'll see if he can get back down into the lows. I will not reload Cisco. Not really moving fast enough, nor Intel. We'll see what happens. While we were doing that, another leg down for Mullen.
Oh,
this
man.
one is it's nasty. No one's going to buy this thing. It's over.
Is today their last day? Is that what it is?
No, they actually, I forget the time under which they have to do it, but if they can close 10 times above, 10 consecutive days above $1 before whenever, then they would gain compliance. But I don't know how many times you can split. I'm sure there's some kind of a rule based on market cap. I just don't think they're splitting their way out of this problem again. And I say it every single time. I cannot think of a name that has done anything remotely like this, where you've been above and you get down to 10 cents, you pull the split off, it goes down to 10 cents, you pull the split off, and it can't hold again. If this goes to 10 cents again, like, oh my goodness, it's actually tragic in some ways. But this is what happens when a stock goes into a split, and so you usually just want to play the trend. Now, I think it's going to base out if it gets to 80 cents. And I'm basing that on the fact that that's exactly what happened last time. So if it's doing exactly what it did before, then it should be getting to 80 cents, which is pretty much where it's headed to today. It was the one break. This was the setup. Failed break of one that doesn't get through $1.01. And then short it back through one even, and then hold all day long. That was the plan of action from the get-go. And this stock sometimes gives it to you. Likewise, I would have taken a 110 break today to the upside. If it would have held above $1 and decided that it wanted to break to the upside and go squeezing, well, I would have taken a breakout at 110. I'll play it in either direction. It doesn't really matter. Momentum is momentum, but had it gone through 110, I think that would have been a long. It just so happened that the short was the way to go. Huge size on the ask, Ben says, of Siri. I'll play. Okay, I don't really see it, but
there always is.
That's not for Siri. That's actually not that much. Maybe it's if it's at a specific price. Let me know, because the current price, that's not a lot of size on Siri. Maybe you mean further down. Okay, I don't see it. Maybe they pulled the order or something. I just thought there might have been something on Siri. Yeah, I'm sure it was there when you looked at it, but that's nothing on Sirius Satellite.
All right, so we do have a couple new position alerts to hit for all y'all. Right now, those of you that are Palantir fans, we're going to go long right now on PLTR. You know, definitely missed the bottom. I mean, it just came from 407, but we did take the 50-period moving average. It did break it, so we're long here at 14s. Yeah, this bottom's been 14, so we're long at 14.14. Is it 14.14? No, I'm long at 14.15, sorry. But yeah, 14.14 was the break, but we got 15, so we'll have to wait to see what happens now on PLTR. It just spiked to 20 there for some reason, so I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't necessarily want to take 5 cents, but it's not horrible. If that is what we have to wind up taking, I did put an offer at 23, which means we kind of got to get through all of this right here. I don't know. I just don't want to put an offer at 20. You know, if it wants to go, it wants to go. Let's see what it wants to do exactly. And then we're long 79s now on Google. Again, another name that has been strong. You know, we'll watch out to see if it wants to go. We just took some out in the 90s there. So we're going to have to wait on that one, Google, right now, trying to make some money back on that just because we lost that last time we went long. Apple still $1. Oh, yeah. And then this is a good one, too. Let's hit the sirens for this. Although AMD never made it to Dollar Club status here in this last trade, but it did retrace all the way back. So it did come up here, did come back into the 21 period moving average. So we took another piece out. So that's short 104. We only have 20% left now. We're short 105, and there's 2 takes. One there at 104.50 was a good one. And then there's another one right there at 104.40 or so. As we're watching to see if there is any continuation on any of these names. Microsoft.
You got a request.
Still 350 in the money. Okay, hold on a second. I'll look at that in a minute. I just want to get my order out for this. 317.75. That seems way too much to give up here on the way back for Microsoft. Maybe we just get it out at 317 and talk about this at another time, man. This is $3.50 in the money right now. So let's go. All right, what the hell is this request?
We just got a super chat for a hot dog cannon. It was from Noah.
That was easy.
Look at the timing. You see that? No, but it wasn't there before. And then the second we said it, the super chat thing showed up.
Magic,
there you go.
baby.
Shout out to that. I don't know what this. Someone just asked, is SEZL the next HKD? I have no idea what this is or how this even makes any sense. I'm trying to wrap my head around what I'm looking at here, but it would be, I mean, it opened 22.65. It's traded 661 shares, is halted at $86, and the theoretical auction price on reopen is $166. So something's broken here, obviously. I don't know what it is, but whatever this is, it's broken and probably shouldn't even be trading. That's my first guess. None of that makes any sense. 661 shares have traded on whatever this nonsense is. I shouldn't call it nonsense. I don't know, but it doesn't make any sense to me. How do you trade something that has 661 volume and is halted 3 times? And why is it trading is the first question I would want to ask. I have no idea what the heck is going on with this. I was asked what I think about Roblox in the chat. So just very quickly, Roblox, look, nothing's having a good day today, so we'll get that out of the way. Like if you're a beaten up name or you're a high growth name, you're probably getting it handed to you. That's RBLX. Roblox is getting down to, if you pull, I always look at the weekly for the higher time frame here. There we go. Roblox is getting down to major support on the weekly, so I think if it gets to 24, remember the market is coming off highs, so anything trading on monster lows has been performing rather poorly. So if it breaks down that bottom, you've got to figure it can get underneath that and can get underneath that in a hurry, right? Like I never expect, if it's been that weak counter trend, I never really expect that it's going to hold up fundamentally. If the market would make, people keep talking about like 10, 15% pullback, I think Roblox gets through that 24 and just see what happens if it does, and maybe it catches a bit of a bid. That's way too much support in the weekly to want to hold a spec play through it. If I was trading it, like that's exactly where a stop would be underneath 23 for a support level. It'd be like, yeah, if I like to buy, I'd be buying in front, and then you just stop it underneath 23, try and play that range. For anything that's longer term, I always look at that weekly chart for support and resistance over the daily. That's just the way to go for me. But again, that's just looking at the charts, everybody. So the market it keeps on trying to bounce a little bit here. I might get out of this Cisco. I like that flat bottom break. You know, it made the flat bottom break, really only went down into the 70s there. So I'm going to tighten the stop up to the local high. I was giving it to 55 before, but it's 342. So I will now trail it to the local high and just throw my bids out to take it out as it goes here. So you have to, at the end of the day, we're day trading. Sean and I have been day trading with Day Trade the World. We have to cover our positions by 4 o'clock by the end of the day, which does mean as you get towards that end of the day, you want to take profit where you can, and then generally tighten up a stop, or you don't have to tighten up a stop. You can just let it go, but you got to cover the position. That's for sure. I doubt we get a fresh low. If we get back down into the low of the day, I'd be pretty happy with that. It's the same thing with Intel, which hasn't moved. Not much. I don't know if I get back into the bottom. I'll just pop a bid at 60 in case it goes. Rivian was what we re-entered a second time since we came back on at 2 o'clock, a third time for the day. I'll let this get into the low. I already have a relatively tight stop on Rivian. You guys, Mullen, we'll see what happens. It's probably just going to do absolutely nothing for said rest of the day. What's crazy, I don't know if we're gonna get into the earnings, but
Wow.
you know, we haven't really talked about this one. We'll do the earnings board later on, but we haven't really talked about this one. I didn't even realize XPeng got red today. Remember this morning when all the Chinese ADRs were gapped up? It's like, yeah, so-and-so's up 3%, yada, Li Auto's up 4%. XPeng was up 7% today.
Wow.
Going into earnings tomorrow, it ticked red, just even barely. The fact that it even got there is just goes to show you, like, these gap ups that happen. And first of all, Chinese ADRs, pull up a 15-minute and understand that all they do is gap. And you have to try to always have the bigger picture in mind. Like, my 15-minute isn't usually telling the story. Like, you have to have the daily chart up for a better idea, or like a daily or a weekly or an hourly or something, because they just gap all over the place, and it's a complete mess trying to read a lower time frame chart. But the story is, it never broke the lower channel that it was in and just flushed to the bottom. So until this gets back above 17, which it reports tomorrow, it could literally be tomorrow, I think it's still trying to short down into this 13 to 15 area where it had a lot of support before. We did a video talking about this, where it seemed like it's coming all the way back in to come out the other side one way or the other. So until it gets into that 13 to 15 range, I don't think we know what the next move is just yet.
All right, what a move here in the PM. I was just tweeting this out because this has been a nice short. And I don't know, oops, let me get rid of that. We just got out of Microsoft, so we'll do it again. You guys wanted it, you super chatted the hot dog gun right there. It's $4. Not only is it a $1, that's $4. $4 on Microsoft, we just put that in our pocket. And you know, it's kind of what we do. I would love to have do this more often, but that's a good trade there. We've been really hitting some of these banger trades all week, man. Despite our day on Monday, it's Thursday right now, so we followed it up with 3 days. Good. Nice trade there, really respecting this 320 area, 321. Just came back in. I'm never going to really respect some of these highs that happen first thing in the morning. I'm trying to more play off, some of these pre-market levels. Sometimes you do get crazy spikes up there, and I just canceled this. But I mean, I should have showed it to you. My stop was 321. These shorts are 320.70, so 30 cents worth to get $4. So you're looking at about 12 to 1 risk to reward rate there, so not horrible. Palantir is pretty horrible, not horrible, it's actually not moving. If we do get a dip down on this one, and again, everyone has to trade their own book here. This is not a long day. It's only, what am I even doing? It's already 346, like, based on these numbers coming out at 350, which are the imbalances, of course. I don't expect anything to happen. Of course, Google then does this, and now we're ripping up on Google. I was just going over to Brendan, like, what am I going to talk about for trade review? I mean, let's go, man. Couple of cash registers being rung up there. There's another one. We're now another 15 cents in the money on this trade for Google as we buy the bottoms, man. And you know where the L was? Breaking 50. So 13 cents worth of risk to now be in the money 20. Not bad. Let's see if Google wants to go up the rest of the day here. Maybe the market is going to find a bottom. Probably not. But you see how we keep on testing the 50-period moving average? I mean, look at this. All the way down, and now finally trying to test it again. Does not break. I mean, that's where the trade is, right, tonight or this afternoon, is trying to keep on fading some of these moves up. But hey, man, if this one wants to continue to go, we're actually making back quite a bit here on Google, on Alphabet here. I keep saying Google. I'm okay calling it that, I think. It's just back to the 50-period moving average now. So you can't see because I have so many outs, but there it is right there. So, like, see? Like, in and in, out. Buy it, get out again. then wait to get long again, hit it, now right back up to the 50-period moving average. So if the futures are going to keep on fading the 50, let's see if this does it again. We just got an 87 fill there as well. Put more orders at 130, then see if Google makes a little bit of a happy dance move here into the end of the day, back up to 130. So I don't have any offers until 130.10. Let's put something in the 90s there and then see if it goes back up. Google, nice little long there. Good decision on that one, it looks like, to buy that. Not a great decision on this, but I'll do this time after time over and over again. So if we can get that bottom at the end of the day, we will do that. So let's go Google right now as we cheer that one on. We don't have much left on Apple. We've been talking about that. If I have to get out of Apple, let's put an order right now just in front of everybody, because again, I don't need to be part of anything that happens into the close. So look, how about this? We went up, tested it, and didn't break. Up it a little bit, 174.22. Come at me, algos. We're going to get out right there if it does come up to that level. And then the only other thing we have is Palantir. And honestly, I feel bad about getting into this one, but we'll average it back at this low here of like 7 where we started it, and then get out if it breaks 14. We don't have a lot of shares on this. I don't know.
I want to make a correction on something. It's not that I didn't say what the type of halt was on this SEZL, but I should have checked the halt page first, because it's halted for T12, which means for information requested by the NASDAQ. Whatever this is, you're probably not going to see it again. So it's information requested on a stock that halts 3 times for 661 shares. Hopefully no one traded this, but you can always just check to see what's going on. Like once you see that, you know it's utter fugazi, it's nonsense, it's not even worth looking at. So is it going to be the next HKD? My answer would be no, because you're probably not going to be able to trade it tomorrow, and HKD is still on the market. So this is Rivian starting to head down, but it's 349, so I put some bids out there just to get filled. We're about to get the imbalances. The early look was only 42 million to sell, which is tiny. That doesn't mean it's going to come out big or small. I have no idea. I have a trailing stop on Cisco, CSCO obviously. Mullen, doesn't really matter. Intel just came out for me. That just got right down into that 60 level again. So we never really added to Intel, didn't find the right spot. Hopefully we did find it in Rivian. Maybe I should have added back into Intel. But let's see if we can't get back into the low of the day there. I'll probably hold on to Mullen to the close. Oh, wow. AMC actually got back to the high of the day. AMC is going to close on the high of the day, oddly enough. I took a couple of shots at the long on AMC just for something that I thought would have a chance to go. Just kept stopping it out into a weak market, and then it keeps on going higher. Like, that'll be my L for the day. In the afternoon anyways. The L this morning was, oddly enough, at HE, which we haven't even talked about that stock. It's kind of wild that we're not even mentioning it. So there you go. AMC going to close the high of the day. We'll
Holy
see.
shit.
I do like it. It is 350.
We missed it.
I have, there we go.
We just got a bang, bang, banger on.
Nothing to
Google must have.
Snapchat has a 2.6. Intel's a buy, so probably good that we got out of that one just now. Enbridge a sell. Pfizer a sell of 1 million. Robinhood's a 900,000 buy. I don't see like Apple or Apple. There's Apple, 500,000 to buy Apple. Google, 500,000 to buy. Palantir, 500,000 to buy. They're not gigantic, but they're also not nothing.
No, I don't need you. I got my guy here.
Another one.
I mean,
Another one.
sometimes the imbalances work out for you, and sometimes you just get another one and another one and another one, and we give it to you guys live here right on the show. There it is, man. AMD banger at the close. Google speaks for itself. Look at this move up on Google. I mean, you can't, I'm not going to take credit for the imbalances. We always talk about that, but if we can come over to the screen right now, you'll see what exactly is happening to Google. We are now 55 cents in the money on this beast as we continue to just murk it to the upside, man. We let this go up. We still have shares on this, and it's a decent size. So let's see if we can go upside here on Google. Now that it's fading back out, we'll take one more out here at 07, and then we'll see where we can go from here. But wow, what a great move upside right now on Google. Let's see what happens. There it is. There it is. We take the 07s. We just got some fills in the teens there. Boom. Upside right there, ending a nice positive day for us on Google. NIO fading right back in. So, hey, man, I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the trade of the day. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff live in the after show. Join me in just a matter of minutes now. We're 8 minutes away from Danielle Shea's going to come on. I don't know, honestly, guys, I don't know what to review as far as the trade is concerned. Is it going to be NEO? Is it going to be Microsoft? Is it going to be NVIDIA? Is it going to be AMD? Is it going to be Apple? I mean, let's go. We're going to be with you guys talking all about trading at 4 o'clock. Join it, man. The best after show you're ever going to find on YouTube. Well, even on, even on cable. I don't know, does anyone have cable anymore? But there it is, NEO right now. 11:51 coming into play there. We'll see. We're bidding 50s. Maybe we just got to bid 51, but it's all good in this hood right now as there we go, man. NEO downside, AMD, Google's living the life. It's been a great show here in the after show. Thank you so much to Frank Caberna as well. I keep saying, what I mean by after show is this show. It's like the afternoon show. Now
After
it's
show,
just
it's the
even
after
getting
party.
after show. It's the after party. Yes, that's what we're going to do.
And now,
today I have a couple parties.
Mullen, your ride to the bottom is complete. It got there eventually. Exactly the same bottom as yesterday in the aftermarket. It was the aftermarket that led me to this, and it's the aftermarket bottom that it just got to. So bye-bye, Mullen. You're done.
See ya.
That's, for a day trader, that's about, because you get that $1 break. It works in both directions. I think that's about as simple as, it's like an even dollar level trade where you just go long on a break or short like a 99 in front of an even. Like it's the same kind of thing that you're looking to capture. Here comes, okay, maybe we do get the back into low on Rivian. It just printed 95s. Let's see if it can't. 85 is the bottom, so if it gets there, I'll probably just take that. Gotta respect it on Rivian here. That's the only thing we got left, so we'll roll that into the close. There is not that much time left. There weren't that many, you had some big imbalances on small cap names. Bristol Myers, oddly enough, was a bit of a buy. So we could look for that little reversal play that you will sometimes see. Like a 355, you get a stock that just goes in the other direction. So I'll be looking out for that. We'll keep it up for you. Snapchat, Robinhood, sometimes you get a little something with names like that.
Yep, I'm just, we did get out. Sorry, I had to punch out of NIO there. So we're out of that one. We'll see what happens on that. But that's NIO coming in again for us right there. We just got another fill somewhere. Oh, yeah. Google right there with a nice move up. I want to make sure I don't have any more offers going through. We also got some Palantir love as well. So Palantir coming back to the downside or to the upside. And again, I'm just trying to make a little bit of cash on this and see if we can get something more out here on Palantir. That would be nice if we can get some 18s. It looks like we'll be able to get those again right there on Palantir. So far so good on that one. We'll cancel some of these upside plays there and just get some more out on PLTR. Yeah, there it goes. Anyways.
Pretty much everything paired off.
Did it? Okay.
Snap's gone, Robinhood's gone. Teva, Teva's a $10 stock. It's 2.4 to sell. Intel's still there. It's the other direction now. It was a buy, now it's a sell. Enbridge, nothing gigantic sticks out. I don't know what RLX is or BEKE. I have actually no idea what BEKE is. KE Holdings. Yeah, so really nothing on the imbalances on that flip trade if you're looking for it. Rivian is the only thing I'm going to still be in, so let's see if it's going to get to that low. I'll probably just punch out if it gets above 21. Otherwise, we're just going to hang on to this bad boy and see what happens. So Rivian, it was a good short. This was one of the strongest names in the market at one point today, and it decided to get, like everything else, it just decided to eventually give it up. If we can recover and maybe the 22 breakout, now that I'm looking at this, the more I look at it, the more I kind of like a potential breakout if it gets back above 22 at some point. But for now, you want to ride those shorts. 3 minutes to go. If something pops up late, maybe we have a look on it. Steve G's asking me about SoFi. Where do we see on SoFi? I haven't looked at SoFi at all today, guys. Let's go to the earnings board. I'll have something for you. Maybe I'll put it in the chat for you, Steve G. We got a couple of names on this earnings board that I think can be, one of them tradable, a couple of them worth at least looking at for what they mean for the market. John Deere, I own Caterpillar, so I always care what they do for that aspect of it. AMAT's good to see what the chips are doing, but XPeng is probably your flyer or tanker, I suppose, tomorrow. Probably more likely the latter, but we'll see.
Yeah, AMAT should be interesting as well. We'll check out AMAT after the close. We'll find those earnings coming through if we can.
There was another, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll talk about earnings after the close. Actually, that's something I forgot to put on that board, earnings. So we're going to get some earnings coming through after the potty is done here. Google just went all the way to 130.40. We're 70 cents in the money on that one. We'll see if it continues to go up. I'm sitting right here. I'm surprised we never got filled, man. We were at 47, went to 44 there. We'll see if that can work out. And then, hey, man, we'll do this because it is a money trade for now. Anyways, we're out of Palantir. We got out at 19s. I just thankfully that we were able to get out. Yeah, I mean, the price was $14.20. We were trying to get out more.
Same thing.
But, you know, not enough time in the day. So we'll exit that trade with a dub on that one to end. So good. Yeah, there we go. 3 trades given to you today in the after show, or in the after PM show. That's something. I'm gonna have to just get used to PM show right there, and all 3 were victorious, not notorious, victorious. And that was a great out on Softy as well, by the way. We were wondering about that when it was all the way down, but now it's all the way up. So we got a good out there at 316.80, not having to worry about anything like that. That's just a $4 winner from those takes as well. Only 2 minutes to go right now.
Very quickly for Steve.
Let's do it.
For you, Steve G, SoFi monster level at about 775. Previous support, resistance into a triple bottom here. If it takes that out, the 200 period is where it gets interesting to me. Underneath $7 is probably where like the buyers I think could step into it. And there was a question: why would I short Rivian instead of VinFast? VinFast is overvalued, but as a day trade, Rivian's moving and is making sense in the way that it moves. I get it. Like, you can trade VinFast, and I do believe we were both sitting in the short yesterday, and neither one of us think it's worth. You could short VinFast. I'm not saying you can't. It's just
today?
the way that it's trading to the downside.
Oh my God.
It's like stair step, do nothing. I wish I could tell you I was sitting in one of these consolidations. The volume's not that big, and the spread is a little bit larger as well. Whereas Rivian it trades like a normal day trading stock for us. The play should have been, I'll admit, the play should have been to just sit in one of these shorts with a stop at the high. Sit in one of these shorts with a stop at the high. And then just let it fall into it. But, you know, we're trading things that made a little bit more traditional sense to the downside, which I think worked today because all the momentum shorts were just big gangbusters. That's all you had to do today was be in Momo shorts, and you had a good day. Momentum shorts, I should say. But, yeah, VinFast, okay, I'll cop. Probably should have had at least one execution on it today. I think I paid for locates as well.
I know, it's like as if. Yesterday we were sitting in these closes until the end, and then it didn't do anything all day. I called VinFast back to $10 when it was at 60. I don't know, didn't have any shortable shares for that one.
I can ring the bell.
Coming through, whoever
in
wants to.
5, 4, 3, oh my goodness. Don't hurt yourself. 1, ring it. Okay.
She's not playing.
That was, so you guys didn't see the full thing. The full thing was
someone gonna get hurt.
No, there is a very small window between the board and some of these like cameras that are everywhere that Ramin like squeezed through like she was running through the line, being blocked by, I don't know who has a good offensive line, the Bills, and then runs right in, gets the bell ring right at the end of the day. Perfect execution, I would say. But someone is going to hurt themselves if we do that too often. Don't trip. Thank you, guys. It was an absolute blast. Kadir, Trader TV India. Why not?
Why not?
Expand, and then someone can go. We can do it all over the world. Actually, the next step should be to get it in different languages, I do believe. But it's been an absolute blast today. The market's going down. You can short it when you are a trader. So just understand that, yeah, we all hate to see our long-term accounts get worse, but that does mean trading opportunities, especially when you get that elevator down. Escalator up, elevator down. I heard that on day 1 when I was a trainee, and it's always been true.
All right, I'll wrap it up. I'm going to head over to the board, the desk with Brendan, so stay tuned for the after show. It's coming up right now. Immediately after, you should be able to get flipped over. And if you're not, check it out. Just go to Trader TV Live on YouTube, and the link will be there, or on social. So once again, thank you so much for supporting all of our shows here today. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Thank you so much to Ramin for almost, actually, she didn't almost fall. She did great.
No, she did.
So yeah, that's great. Hopefully we don't.
Good agility right there.
Yeah, good agility.
3 cones.
Thanks, Fabian, Brendo, Frank Caberna. Thank you so
always.
much from IG. and then,
Director.
OCI group as well from Rahim Alani. So thank you to our guests today. And I'm about to have Danielle Shea on, so if you're talking about options, you have any questions for her, stay tuned for that. In just a matter of 10 minutes or so, I'll have Danielle on. I think she was on Fox Business or something like that earlier on. I don't know.
No idea who that is.
I don't know what
Never heard
happened
of
there.
him.
Something caught in my throat there. So
You got to get over there. AMAT's out.
Yeah, I got to get over there. Okay,
Yeah,
AMAT's out. All right, ciao, guys.
Get to the desk. Let's throw it to Brennan.
They'll come back this way. All right, let's get you caught up on how things wrapped up for the session. We end essentially on the lows of the day, plum lows, that is.